to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back seat! Tell me where you are, John!
Wolfman's got Nards!
Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a re-ranking of the Scream franchise, including Scream 6. Now there might be spoilers in this video if you haven't seen any of the Scream films, including the last one obviously. So if you haven't seen some of them, or especially the last one, then maybe don't watch this ranking until you've seen all the movies. Before I begin my ranking, when it comes to the Scream films, and this includes the last one as well because that's the newest on the list, there's no bad film in this franchise. I think the worst movie in the franchise is an okay film. It's watchable, and I will probably watch it again and again, of course. So there's something very unique about the Scream franchise in that every film is watchable, every film is rewatchable, and no film is bad in the franchise. So when it comes to ranking it, guys, if you see your favourite movie in last place, don't worry. I don't think it's a terrible film. I think it's at least okay. Coming in at number 6 is the newest entry in the franchise, and that is Scream 6. Now this one, like I said in my reviews earlier, it's an okay film. There's nothing terrible about the film. Yes, there's some bad moments in it, and there's some really bad cringy dialogue and some really bad acting, but overall as a movie I was entertained all the way through it. This is the longest Scream film and it doesn't really seem like it. It's over 2 hours long, and I did say this in my review as well, that I didn't find myself bored any time throughout the film, so that is a positive for the film. Although I thought it was okay, I was still highly entertained all the way through it. There was just certain things that happened in the film that didn't make sense or I just didn't agree with. So there's nothing terrible about the film. That's why it's not a bad film, but there's just something about it that makes it last because of the acting, because of the script, the dialogue, things that we've seen time and time again. They rehash and repeat a lot of things as well. So that's the reason why it's dead last. And at number 5 is Scream 3. This is finally no longer the worst film in the franchise. And like I said, it's not a bad film. I think this one was pretty good, and I think this one has aged okay over time. I think I like this movie better now than I did when I first watched it, but it's still, or it was still, last place for quite some time. But there's something about taking a movie out of Woodsboro or out of a college, high school scene for a Scream film, and maybe that's why Scream 6 also didn't work, but taking it out of there, but not only taking it out of that scenario, putting it into something completely different. Now I understand why they've done it with the real life shootings etc that caused them to kind of tone it down a little bit. So I think Scream 3 was fighting against the odds, and it was unfair for it because it was supposed to be an epic finale, the epic finale of a trilogy, and it just didn't quite live up to its hype. And at number 4 is Scream 4. I'm really glad in this one that they brought it back to the teenage kids, to Woodsboro, because everything about Scream 4 felt like it was original. I think one of the issues I had with this film, and I've said this time and time again, is the lens that they used for filming this movie, or the post-production that was put into this, because everything looked very glazed over, like someone smeared Vaseline over the lens. That's my only biggest issue with the film, the technical aspect of it. But everything was there. It had decent kills. It was, at the time, the goriest Scream movie of all time, even though here in the UK it was rated 15 and the other 3 were rated 18. So yeah, I think the gore aspect was good. Ghostface was really good in it. Everything felt original. Neve Campbell was still at a point in her career where she was massive. She was still really good, and her character Sidney Prescott was still in the forefront, even though we had new characters introduced. I think what they've done well with this one was still include Sidney as being one of the main characters. So I don't have much bad things to say about it movie wise. It's only the Vaseline lens that I didn't really like about it. And at number 3 is Scream 5. I do find it quite bizarre that after going to see Scream, a lot of my comments on YouTube are, oh, Scream 6 is a lot better than Scream 5. Well, obviously, it's just an opinion, but I completely disagree, because I think we had a few surprises in Scream 5. I expected Amber to be one of the killers, but I didn't expect Richie to be a killer because of how he acted all the way through the movie. Maybe it was Jack Quaid that caused me not to think it was him, but there was so many twists and turns in this movie, and I didn't really know what to expect. After Scream 5, after seeing Scream 6, I now know what to expect with Radio Silence's movies. But when Scream 5 came out, I think it was fresh. I did see it in the cinema a couple of days ago, because it was a double feature that I saw. So seeing it in the cinema again, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was excellent. I think the opening scene with Tara was fantastic, and it was a really good twist that she was the first person to survive at the beginning of a Scream movie. It no longer was an opening kill, it was an opening attack. So there was a lot of twists and turns, a lot of changes in the rules, but when it comes to Scream 6, that all kind of went back to basics. But yeah, with Scream 5, I think it was a very refreshing movie. Obviously it was an up-to-date one for modern audiences, but at the same time, even though modern audiences could enjoy it, I think people who liked the Scream franchise also enjoyed it. And at number 2 is Scream 2, and this is one of the movies that just climbed up my list every time I watched the movie. And for this ranking, I've watched every Scream movie over and over again for the past couple of months, just in the lead up and the build up to Scream 6, and I think every time I watch Scream 2 there's something so good about it, and it's so underrated, and I definitely underrated this movie when I first seen it, and I think it's because we always compared it to the original. Nothing's going to beat the original, therefore the next movie that comes out in any franchise, the sequel usually is inferior when it comes to horror movies. It's quite ironic that I'm saying this because they do mention sequels in Scream 2, but what I do like about Scream 2, talking about that, is their meta commentary, the meta moments in the film are not heavy-handed. They're so organic and smooth. When they talk about the sequels in the class with Joshua Jackson, Mickey, Randy, etc., and Sarah Michelle Gellar, it all just feels so organic and not forced, whereas you watch movies like Scream 6 and they're talking about their meta commentary, it's so cringy and forced. So I think Scream 2, because it was still written by Kevin Williamson, the script was so slick, the characters were fantastic, the reveal at the end was great. I think everything about Scream 2 gets better with age, and that's why it's just climbed right up to number 2. And at number 1 is of course Scream 1, the original from 1996. I think anytime I'm doing a ranking video for Scream movies, I think I might as well do it in reverse order and start with number 1, because I don't think anything's ever going to top Scream 1. Not only is it the best Scream movie, not only is it one of the best horror movies of all time, it is one of the best movies of all time. It has a massive influence on my life as a kid growing up, as a teenager watching these teen slasher movies of the 90s. Nothing will ever beat Scream. I can't say anything bad about the movie. There's literally nothing bad about the film. The acting is great, the characters were fantastic, the writing, the script, the gore, the twists and turns, the reveal at the end, everything about this film was just absolutely amazing. So I don't even need to tell you why it's number 1, because I'm sure it's number 1 for most of you guys. I know I have seen online that some people prefer other movies in the franchise over Scream 1. Some people even said Scream 6 is better. That's your opinion, that's absolutely fine. But to me, nothing will ever beat Scream 1. I don't care if Scream 7 comes out and is absolutely amazing. There's going to be something that I love about Scream 1 more. Absolutely guaranteed. So yeah, number 1 by a landslide, the original. So that is my ranking for the Scream franchise, guys. I don't think anything's really changed much since the last time I done my ranking. The only reason I do re-rankings is obviously because new movies come out in the franchise, and after rewatching them, sometimes they do change. So it's always best to do a refresh and a re-ranking, including the new movie. But unfortunately for me, the new movie is dead last. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it doesn't mean I hated the film. It's an okay movie. I will rewatch it. It has got the rewatchability factor. It is an entertaining film. It's just nowhere near the best, and it's definitely dead last for me. So my question to you guys is, what is your ranking? If you don't really know, it's absolutely fine. Where would you rank the latest movie in the franchise? That's the main question. Leave your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.